Today's the day. New Japan Pro Wrestling Series 1 from Super 7. Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel. And today on the channel, we are unboxing New Japan Pro Wrestling Series 1 via Super 7. But remember, for all your Super 7 needs, make sure you hit up Big Bad Toy Store. Link in the description below. So today we are unboxing New Japan Pro Wrestling Series 1. Gonna be a little different than most reviews. A lot of times I'll do these singly and put them all together. I figured this time, let's just do them all together. I'll try to do some cuts. As we know with these Super 7 figures, after we've unboxed the Thundercats and a few others on the channel, there's a lot of packaging and stuff. So I'll cut some of that out. I'll get these, we'll show the box, then bam, through the magic, we'll have cuts and edits. We'll just look at the figure and talk about it. I figured we'd set the stage, though, first. As you guys know, these were pre-ordered over a year and a half ago by me. I pre-ordered these a long time ago, and I've talked about it a lot on the channel, a lot of my weekly purchases video. I'm not a huge fan, actually I'm not a fan at all of people sitting on my money, gaining interest on my money for over a year. That's why I always go to Big Bad Toy Store for my Super 7 figures, as you don't pay till they ship. So I always like that better. I know some of you guys like to just pay your money now and wait, but put your money in a 401k. Put it somewhere else that you can make money on it. Yeah, it might not be a ton of money, but it's still money. At the end of the day, we work hard for these figures. I'm just not a big fan of that year-long pre-order. That being said, I totally get Super 7's approach to this because they are not Mattel. They are not Hasbro. They take a pre-order a year out, a year plus in a lot of cases like this one. They take the pre-order. They decide, okay, this is how many we're going to make. That's how it works. And most figures take about a year to make. And when you're a smaller company and all that kind of stuff, hey, that's what it takes. I get that. I totally understand it. But if there's routes that you can go via Big Bad Toy Store, for example, to not have them sit on your money, use it. You can use that money. Who knows what might come up? You might need that money for something. And that's just me there. Unfortunately, these did take a year and a half. It just seemed like these were never going to come. I always say with Super 7 too, and I love Super 7's products. I am not rallying against Super 7 at all. I love their products. I love the Thundercats. I wish I would have got those He-Man back in the day. A lot of good stuff from the Super 7 brand. I just wish that they would be more transparent, and I don't even know if that's the right word either. I say, hey, every time they say, here's the pre-order, you got 30 days to order it, and it'll be out a year later. Don't say the year later. Say it's a year and a half. Just say, hey, it's going to be a year and a half. And guess what? Once it comes 13 months later, hey, start sending the shipping notices out. Everybody's going to be surprised. Everybody's going to be happy. But I continually see disappointment across the board when these are supposed to be out a year later. You've had my money for a year, and all of a sudden, oh, there's a delay. It's a 2-month delay. It's a 3-month delay. Whatever it is. I say, tell them it's a year and a half and then come out in 13 months, 14 months, whatever it is, and you'll have a much more happier customer base out of that. That's just the way I think. Why promise a year and then go over? I understand things happen, but that'll protect you for that extra 6 months. That's my recommendation for Super 7. Not that they're listening, but that's what I would like to see out there. This New Japan line, there was a lot of issues. Obviously, COVID was a big part of it. I had heard New Japan was very tough on licensing, getting back, all that kind of fun stuff. So there is issues there, too, that's out of Super 7's control. But I think we're all happy these are finally hitting the stores, hitting the shores of the United States, hitting the Ringside Collectibles, the Big Bad Toy Stores, Super 7. They should all be shipping out from everybody that pre-ordered way about a year and a half ago at this point. And then Series 2, hopefully it'll be on the heels. I think they said the end of spring. I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not, but we'll see. And I'm sure we'll talk about those on the channel as well. And then also setting the table here for New Japan. I am by no means a New Japan Pro Wrestling expert, especially modern day New Japan. There's only so many hours in the day. I would love to watch New Japan. I absolutely do not have the time to invest into that, unfortunately. Busy life I have. A lot of hours at my normal job. So I'm lucky I can even do reviews for you guys. I don't know about that, but I'm not an expert on these characters. I've seen matches with all these people. I understand who they are. I know what they do. But to say I could tell you everything about Okada and every match he ever had, I'd be absolutely lying. So I'm looking at these more of as a figure, a wrestling figure, which I do know wrestling figures. I've been collecting them for 35 years or at least, if not longer at this point. So I know my wrestling figures. I know what I want out of a wrestling figure, and I know what I'm looking for in a wrestling figure. So that's kind of how I'm going to go with my reviews. I'm going to be honest. I have not paid attention to any reviews of these. The Major Brothers, they did their first review. I did see some of that kind of stuff. Some of their comments on it, you couldn't. It was like a car crash. You had to see what was going on after Ringside put up those figures, pictures that didn't look really that hot. I said I had to hear what their comments were and had to see them in fact, because I was actually thinking of canceling my order after I saw those Ringside pictures. And then I said, you know what? We'll see. We'll see. I think these will be worth a lot down the line, no matter if they're good or bad. Just being the first series, they were made to order. I said, worst case scenario, I can get these, I can unbox them, see what I really think, and then I can flip them if I don't like them. Just like you guys can. With anything you get, you can always flip it if you don't like it. So I stayed away from all other reviews. I didn't want to be influenced. As I've said on the channel before, I try to stay away from all reviews of figures because I don't want to give somebody else's review. I want to give my own review with my own eyes. After I do a review, I'll check out other people's reviews to see if they had the same thoughts I did. Maybe they went in a different direction. Who knows? But I had to stay away. And I've been, keep my eyes closed, staying away from all this kind of stuff because I didn't want to be influenced. I wanted to give my first impressions of these figures. And it was really hard as these have been hitting all over the place. A lot of discussion about them. But like I said, I've stayed away from them. We're also going to compare these figures. I got tons of different figures that we'll compare to. I got, the Jushin Thunder Liger figure that came out from Storm Collectibles. We'll compare it to that. The Super 7 Andre the Giant figure, we can compare it to that. We'll compare it to a Mattel Ultimate Edition, a Mattel Elite. We got an AEW Jazzwares figures. And just for the heck of it, we can compare it to an FTC figure. Because the Will Ospreay, when they really launched that one, I was like, that kind of reminds me of that FTC Colt Cabana figure is what my brain went. So we'll compare it to all of those. So just wanted to set the stage at the beginning of the review, set the table of what we're in for, how I'm going about this, and we'll go from there. So let's get after it. Let's unbox them. All right, let's start it off. And I just randomly picked, and it looks like we're starting off the unboxings with Will Ospreay, Super Junior superstar, world-renowned superstar, Seth Rollins' best friend, if I remember right. Year ago, 2 years ago, they got in a little Twitter beef. I don't know. Let's take a look at the packaging on this one. Now, I'll only show this front packaging the first time, as the slipcase is the same across the board. So you can see the slipcase there. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, King of Sports, New Japan. So they got the traditional lion, I guess that is a lion. Will Ospreay down here with the blue, the slipcase. Nothing on the side, nothing on the side. You got right there on the top, Ultimate. And then on the bottom, you got a little bit of warnings, all that kind of stuff, the UPC, all that fun stuff. And then, so the slipcase, obviously removable, very, very cool. You definitely want to keep all this packaging on Super 7 figures. Reselling Super 7 figures, you need to keep all this packaging. So you got to be careful with it. We're not going to do any crazy see-laters with these. None of that going on. All right, so I'm looking at this for the first time with my eyes. Very cool packaging, I have to admit. Very cool packaging. I love the blue. Blue is my favorite color, so it really pops there. You got the New Japan logo there. Love the ring ropes here. So you got 3 ring ropes. Like, he's right behind ring ropes. That's cool. A lot of accessories, a ton of hands. Super 7 is in the hands business. No matter what line, you get a lot of hands with your figures. You get an extra head for Will Ospreay as well. A lot going on there. On the top there, you got New Japan Pro Wrestling, King of Sports. There you go on the side. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with all these guys. I don't follow the New Japan Wrestling. I don't have New Japan World or any of that. Honestly, I was big into Japan Wrestling in the 90s. Big Japan, obviously the barbed wire matches and stuff. I was a big ECW guy, so I was all in on that. But my favorite is All Japan. I was an All Japan guy. I love the All Japan stuff. I used to do a lot of tape trading of All Japan. New Japan was always more, I don't know. It wasn't as hard-hitting as All Japan was in my book. That was me, though. New Japan, you got some something I can't read right there. I'm guessing that says maybe King of Sports or New Japan. Will Ospreay, let's see what it says about old Will Ospreay here. Height, 185 centimeters or 6'1", 86 kilograms, 190 pounds. Essex, England is where he's from. Finisher, the Os Cutter at Twitter. Hit him up at old Will Ospreay. So there it is. Can't tell you, I really do love this packaging on here. I love that they're going to be uniform packaging as well. I know the Matt and Brian figures are going to have very similar packaging to this. think that is very cool for you inbox collectors. We talk about it a lot. Package uniformity is what it's about. All right, let me unbox this guy. All right, I got Will Ospreay out of the pack, and now let's take a look at him. So as you guys know, Super 7, no stranger to giving us millions of hands. I mean, we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, many sets of hands with this one. So you can put him in any finger hand position you want. One thing I did notice right off the bat, obviously he has a sword he comes with. So part of his entrance there, a sword, very cool. I'm not sure if this is reused. I would think it would be reused from something else. As you know, Super 7 makes many of figures. So this probably sword's been used somewhere along the line. But the two hands he comes on are both fisted hands. But I needed a hand to put on that he could hold this sword, because he's going to be displayed with the sword and his trophy for me. Speaking of the trophy, there's that little trophy there. I got to have him holding those. Might as well. They're cool accessories. Something we've never seen really in wrestling figures before. Have to put these on him. So I had to switch out to the hands, the grip hands, the holding hands for the sword. First thing I noticed, he's got a wrist tape on there, but it's not painted wrist tape on the hands. So that is a little disappointing there. I think that's a little just quality control issues. Somebody missed that there. Not the end of the world, but it's just something to note. Then I went with the old finger pointing hands for the other one. I just figured, that's good enough. That'll hold the trophy just fine. The hands pop in and out like any other hand from Jazzwares, Mattel. Same type of situation. I assume they're all going to be the exact same like that. But then when you get to the figure, so I pull this figure out, and like I said, the first time I saw this figure, with the shininess of the jacket and all that kind of stuff, it gave me FTC Colt Cabana vibes. Maybe it's just me. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. But when I get it in hand, it definitely looks better than the pictures. I'll say that. And that was kind of Matt and Brian's in their Twitch stream talking on the Major Pod network there. They were saying, hey, the pictures didn't do it justice. And I agree. In hand, these look way better than the pictures. It's amazing. That being said, it is a little weird. See, I see things I don't like here. So it is a lot like the old school Marvel TNA figures, the Toy Biz figures. I was not a fan of those. I didn't like them. The shading on this, I get what they're kind of going for, but it doesn't really work, at least on this Osprey so far. It almost looks like he got a spray tan, and it just kind of missed some spots. And it's really bad in, like, the joints. You can see that elbow there. It's very white elbow. I mean, it's like you got the spray tan, and you didn't, cover your fingers, or you didn't do something. In the joints, yeah, and the same thing on the shoulder joints. I don't like the looks of that. So the little joint part is like a clear plastic where he's tan around that. It just doesn't look, I don't know, there's something off. Something off. It's not terrible. Like I said, in the pictures that Ringside put up, it was really bad. It's still got some issues, but it's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. But it still looks a little weird, especially on those joints. He's got his jacket, a very cool soft goods jacket, very nice. Two heads on this one, Will Ospreay. You got kind of more of a mean mugging head, and of course the regular head. I gotta choose which one. I'm thinking I'm leaning towards the mean mugging head. Looks like it pops right out, very simple. I'm assuming it'll pop in just as simple, huh? We'll see. Yep, it does. He does got a little bit of a giraffe neck. I think especially if you take this jacket off him. I don't know if I really want to take it off. Oh, he's got a belt. I didn't even realize he had an IWGP belt under here. So there you go right there. I don't know. One other thing is he's a little bow-legged. His knees are off just a hair. His right knee for me, or right leg. When you bend it back, it just looks a little goofy. Something different is the knee swivel. I don't know if we've seen knee swivel in a wrestling figure before. I don't believe we ever have. So you got a knee swivel. You got the ankle, of course. And then you got the knee that bends up and down like anything else. And you got knee pads over the knees. You got a waist swivel. You got an ab crunch. Then you got the hands, the elbows. Bicep swivel, shoulder swivel, you got the head that swivels. So your usual articulation we get with wrestling figures, but the knee is one that nobody else has, that knee articulation like that. Let's see, can I get this belt off? Do I even want to try to take this belt off? I don't know if I want to, because I've heard Matt and Brian were talking about the belts broke on a lot of these guys. So I'm not sure. I'm going to display him with his shirt on, or his jacket on, and it's going to cover that belt anyway. So I think I'm just going to leave as is, I'm not going to tempt fate, at least on this one, and break the belt. I'm sure I'll probably break one of these, because it sounds like the belts are very fragile on these, which is unfortunate. Will he fit on a Ringside Collectibles stand? RingsideCollectibles.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save 10%. Oh, fits like a glove on the old Ringside Collectibles stands. If anybody was wondering that, there you go. There's the answer right there. Let's see here. Pop that there. Pop that in his hand here. And there's the man, Will Ospreay. I don't know. It's all right. It's all right. I don't know if it's better than expected. It's about what I expected. I really don't like those joints. Luckily, his jacket does cover up some of that. You're not going to really see the back of the elbow. It just kind of looks like a spray tan gone wrong. So that's a little disappointing there for me. The belt issue, I'm a little nervous about that one. I like the accessories. I like the extra head. And the head does look a little FTC-ish. I talked about Colt Cabana earlier, and let's do it. Let's compare him to the FTC Colt Cabana. Maybe it's that red on Cabana's jacket and the red on his shoulder kind of remind me of the same type thing. Obviously, this is a much better quality figure than FTC. FTC, you're looking at $30 for this. Yeah, it's touch and go. Colt Cabana's a favorite, Midwest wrestling legend. I had to pick up Colt Cabana. But some of the gloss to the FTC, it's almost a cartoonish gloss that's on the faces. Colt Cabana is no stranger to that. Will Ospreay also has that comic gloss to it. Makes it look a little cartoony. And I don't know what that is, if that's just paint applications, it's the shine in the plastic. I'm by no means an expert on that, but I do see a little comparisons there. This is a little bit better, obviously. But I do see some of that there. But yeah, the jacket, the soft good jackets, this FTC jacket is very solid. It's very comparable, really, to this one. So that's why it kind of reminded me. The two reds reminded me of that, and then the glossy finish to the face kind of reminds me of each other. But there's a little FTC comparison, and why not? Well, I've had this one just handy. Adam Cole. I believe this is the new... Is this the new Fan Central? I think it's the new Fan Central one. We'll compare that to Will Ospreay here. What do we got size-wise? I got to think Adam Cole is just a hair shorter than Will Ospreay. I want to say he's about 5'10", 5'11" tops, saying he's 6'1". So there's your scale. It's close. It's close enough with smoke and mirrors, depending how you display, if you want to display these guys together. It could be done. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. Is it what we wanted out of this, Will Ospreay? I don't know. Like I said, too, I'm not a huge expert on Will Ospreay and his whole career and all that fun stuff. But for me, it's about what I expected. I guess that is good. I know a lot of people, like I said, had a lot of issues seeing the pictures from ringside, all that kind of fun stuff, and all the hubbub on the internet that was going around. Like I said, I tried to stay away from it all. But when I saw the ringside collectible pictures, obviously I saw the pre-order pictures and all that, which were CGI'd or computer graphics. And that's one bad thing about Super 7. You're not really seeing the finished product until, hey, it's here. So that's part of an issue with Super 7. We talked a little bit about at the beginning of the show. But Will Ospreay, I'm okay with it. Just a few issues here and there. So there it is, Will Ospreay. Let's move to the next one. All right, next up we have Okada, one of the ones people are looking most forward to in the Super 7 line. A huge star in New Japan. I think most well known for his time in TNA, being Samoa Joe's lackey. I think that's where everybody really fell in love with Okada. Or possibly I'm joking. I will mention, like all Super 7 figures, I didn't show this earlier, they do come in the nice brown box outside of the figure that houses everything. If you're collecting Super 7s, you've got to save these boxes. People want this. They want the whole package when you're reselling and selling. So make sure you save these boxes. You get one with every single one. So I want to point that out real quick too. So here it is, old Okada. Very same packaging, obviously, as Will Ospreay there. Lots of extra hands. Big time entrance jacket. Got some money up there, I can see. We'll see what that looks like. Extra set, an extra head. Well, this is one of those ones, too, where I thought the head looked a little too FTC glossy, is what I like to call it. Just a little too glossy in the head. But we'll see. We'll see how it looks. Same sides. New Japan. There it is. There it is. Warnings on the bottom. In the back. See what it says about old Okada here. 6'3", 191 centimeters. 107 kilograms, 234 pounds, from Aichi, Japan. Finisher, the Rainmaker. Twitter, hit him up. Rainmaker X Okada. So there it is. I'm going to open him up, and we're going to go from there. All right, Okada is free. We're going to start off looking at his money here, which, how is it money? I don't know. I wish there would have been some kind of design on this money. It's just basically green. Obviously, it looks like money, but some kind of design on here. You couldn't put his face on there. I think, doesn't he have like Okada bucks or something with his face that comes down and all that? That would have been cool. So I don't know. A little bit of a miss here. I guess it's a neat accessory. And people, hey, if you want to use this for something else, you want to put this with your G.I. Joe Classified Destro figure, there you go. You could do that. So that's the accessories there. He does come with an extra head. So the head that is on him, once again, like I said earlier, is a little too FTC-ish. It has a shine to it that looks just a little strange to me. I just don't like it. This one has a little of that. It's like one has makeup and one doesn't. So this is the kind of the plain Jane head. I think I prefer this one. He comes with more of a glossy head. Beautiful robe on this one, as you guys can see. Very similar, obviously the same as we saw with Will Ospreay. Same kind of joints and all that kind of stuff, articulation. It's all going to be the same from here on out, so we don't need to really go through all that articulation again. But I do notice that the knees seem to kind of bow out a little bit, or the legs do. I don't know if it picks up on camera, but you put him there, it almost looks like he's bowed out. That's just something that's just a little strange. He does have the... Yeah, I don't know. Very, very strange on there. I'm going to try to take this jacket off. This is a beautiful jacket. It doesn't feel as fragile as it looks, if that makes any sense. Looking in, it looks like it might be fragile, looking in the package, but it's actually a pretty durable substance, I would say. A lot of cool decorations on this one. A lot going on. He does come with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Also, he comes with... a necklace, not unlike a young Mr. T. But can I get this jacket off without ripping the jacket? That's one thing we don't really want to do. Let's not rip that jacket. Always worry that, hey, will it ever go back on? But we'll see. We're going to find out. I'm taking it off. So, all right. Boy, these look a lot better with the jackets on from Osprey and Okada here now. I don't know. Very tight joints, but I appreciate tight joints. A little loose in the wrists for the hands. These are almost FTC-like. If you guys have bought FTC figures, the wrists a lot of times are loose. That's how these are. They're not as tight as the elbows and everything else. This one, the paint looks a little bit better. Doesn't look like a spray tan gone wrong, terribly wrong. Obviously, this will come off. No click or anything, but it's just a Mr. T-like chain necklace, straight out of the 80s. Good for him. Let's pop this other head on and see what we think here. I think I prefer this one, just straight looking at it. Yeah, the second head looks a lot better. This one has too much of a gloss finish. It's like they're trying to do some kind of paint technique, but it makes it looking way too cartoonish, where this one looks a lot more legit. So I like that. Once again, I'm very concerned about taking this belt off. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see at the end. Maybe I'll take one of these belts off, but he's going to be covered in his robe. Who wouldn't display him in his robe? I'm not going to be wrestling with these figures. I'm not playing with them. And these really aren't for kids. It'd be interesting if there's any kids out here collecting these. Maybe in Japan. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe there's some really cool kids out there that are all into New Japan. Some 8-year-old kid, and he just loves wrestling. He's all into New Japan, one of these figures, and asked for them. I don't want those Mattel Elites, Mom. I want those New Japan Super 7 figures. Man, give that kid a medal or something. That's pretty cool if that's the case. All in all, I like this one too. The paint application looks better. It doesn't look as spray tan gone wrong. Put the second head on there. Very solid. My only complaint with this one is a little bit on the legs. He's just got the bow-leggedness to the knee. I just think it looks a little strange. But yeah, it's a $45 figure on all these, I should mention. There's a lot of publicity and a lot of fuss, like, oh, they're charging way too much for these. And they are expensive. These are adult collector's toys by a small company. That's why you're going to be paying more. You think if Mattel or Hasbro were in the same boat, they'd be having the same prices. Mattel and Hasbro ship thousands and thousands and thousands of every figure. Who knows if there's even, 5,000 of each of these figures. The less you make, the more it costs. That goes for anything in this world, especially toys. If you're only making a few, to make that mold and all that kind of stuff, it costs a lot. I can tell you, like bread. Let's talk bread, something everybody eats for the most part. There's loaves out there that, don't sell as well as traditional loaves. Let's say an everyday white bread. Everybody buys the white bread or the wheat bread, but then you get some fancy small white bread with 10% less sugar. Sounds great. Not as many people buy it, so that you don't get as long of run times. It has a special pan you have to make that in, so it costs a lot more. Even though it's a smaller loaf, it costs more because you don't have the long runs and you don't make, a day worth of product. Instead, you're only making an hour's worth. So you got changeover, you got bag changes, all that kind of stuff. It's just, that's the way the world works. The more something is made, the cheaper it gets. That's what these are not going to be mass produced like Mattel, Hasbro, or even AEW Jazzwares figures. So you're paying a $45 price point because of that. I know people are complaining about it, but you really can't. It's simple business. It's not just wrestling figures or figures in general. That goes for everything. He does fit on the ringside collectible stand, as Will Ospreay did as well. So I like that a whole lot. I'm all right. I like this one. Hey, it's all right. What I want to do now is we'll compare Okada to some other wrestling figures, just like we did Osprey with the FTC and the Mattel Elite. We're going to compare Okada to the newest Kenny Omega figure from AEW Jazzwares. We'll put that right up here. And then we'll grab the Mattel Ultimate Edition, very similar to these Ultimate Editions, of Shinsuke Nakamura. Obviously a New Japan legend in his own right. So there's a little Shinsuke Nakamura, a pretty cool one, a very Michael Jackson-esque Nakamura, I always say. Let's pull him off the stand. So these compare perfectly, but I believe, how tall is Nakamura? Is he 6'2", 6'3"? So, that's about right. That's about right. If he is 6'2", 6'3", that's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. So that's about right scale-wise. Kenny Omega should be the smallest of the three, and he's right there as well. It's funny, you put Kenny next to these three and the different skin tones across here. Kenny almost looks like a sickly kind of light green. Like he's got the flu. Like he got a bad bucket of KFC chicken and he's got a little food poisoning. But I love this Kenny Omega. If you guys watch my AEW Jazzwares Series 4 review, Kenny was my least favorite one of that set, and I absolutely love this figure. That's how great that last AEW set was. Love what the future of AEW holds. Some bumps along the way. Hey, guess what? No different than the New Japan figures. There's going to be some bumps along the way. Series 2 should be much improved over Series 1. You got to start somewhere. If you start out perfect, man, can you get any better? We want them to start out perfect. Just doesn't always happen that way. But a little height-size comparison. I think, to me, these Super 7s pair a little bit better with the Jazzwares figures. Now, they're their own beast, though. It's not going to be perfect, but looks-wise, they seem to compare with Jazzwares a little bit better. The Mattels, I don't want to say cartoony, but they look just a little cartoonier than the Super 7 or the Jazzwares. Just a little bit. Not a ton, but just a hair cartoonier. But I don't know. I mean, they're all, for the most part, good figures. If I had to choose, this is tough to beat. I mean, this one takes what this one feels like. They feel very similar, but the paint applications and the faces look so much better on the Jazzwares than the Super 7. And the Mattel look a little cartoonier. The Mattels are the most solid figures of the bunch. The one that I feel I could give to a kid, they're not going to break. These two, I feel a kid could easily break these possibly. The Mattel is the most durable. Still looks really good. Just a little bit different. So it's always interesting to compare these guys, and all in the same family, same universe, just different ways different companies go about these things. But yeah, everything else feels really tight outside of the hands and the wrists. Like I said, that infuriates me a little bit. But there it is. There's Okada. Solid. Better than expected. Let's see the next one. All right, next up in Super 7, we got Tomohiro Ishii. Do you think his friends call him Tom? Maybe they do. I don't know. But let's take a look at the packaging first. There's old Ishii in there. He's got his title belt around him. I think this is one we're going to take the belt off. Hopefully it doesn't break on us. We'll see. Extra head, tons of hands. Typical packaging we're used to now. Third one in. Everything's the same. Same stuff we've seen. Beautiful, beautiful packaging, though. Beautiful packaging. Make sure you save your packaging. Don't give it the old see you later and bust it up. Height 5'6", 220 pounds, from Kanagawa, Japan. Finisher, the Vertical Brain Buster. Let's see it. I think we're going to take the title belt off this one. We'll see. Keep fingers crossed it doesn't break on us. We'll see what happens. All right, we got Ishii out of the package, and he comes with a surprise to me. I didn't realize he was coming with a chair. So it's always interesting to compare chairs via Mattel, AEW, and now Super 7. I can tell you the AEW chair was a really weird one. I forget who that came with, and somebody in Series 3 that came with. I can't remember off the top of my head. I wasn't a big fan of that chair, and I don't know if it's just my Mattel chair bias, as maybe I've been used to the Mattel chairs for so long. That's the ones I kind of like, and they're very similar to the Jax chairs. This one is an interesting chair, very same. They're almost all the same. Very, very light, though. Very cheaper plastic used on this. I guess I don't hate that. This doesn't have to be a heavy, heavy accessory. It seems to work. It seems to get the point across. I'm not sure exactly, is Ishii known for his steel chair swinging? Maybe that's my guess. I did put on these kind of madman look at me hands. He did just have the two fists on him. I figured I gotta give these guys some personality. I gotta give them different fists. They can't just all have the fists going. They all gotta have something different going on. So I just put that on quick. I'm gonna sit and ponder it, let it come to me, and see how I want to pose these in my detolfs when the time comes. The first thing I did notice, very similar to the other ones, the weak link of articulation seems to be the hands and the wrists. We're playing those. That just aren't as tight as I would like. Get a little limp-wristed here, unfortunately. I do notice on this one, which is very strange. I don't know if we've ever seen this before, but there's no Velcro for the shirt to get the shirt off. That's something totally different. So it's basically Barbie doll style. You got to just pull them off and on. I don't know how hard that is going to actually be. I don't know, especially when he's got this elbow brace, elbow pad. It seems like it might be a little tough to get over there. So this shirt might come off once for some pictures and go back on, never to come off again, because I think it's going to be a huge challenge getting that shirt off. And then we got the title belt, which looks really weird with the shirt because it's bunching up the shirt here. So to me, this title belt's coming off. This would be one he slings over his arm in my display. So this is going to be the first title belt I take off. And like they said on the Major Wrestling Figure Twitch stream, some of these belts break. So I'm very nervous about that. I guess this is what we got to do for science. Let me put my science hat on. And I'm going to take this belt off right now. So you're probably going to see my heart break as this $45 toy breaks as I take the belt off. So here we go. Here we go. Soak it in. Soak it in one time with it on him, I guess. We can prove that, hey, at one time it was on him. All right, here we go. I'm going to be gentle. Well, it came off, didn't break. There it goes. It's very sticky on there. It's just kind of the plastic, but there it is. The belt did not break for me, so that's good. Will it go back in? Maybe this is where it breaks. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's just got to be gentle with it. So I did. Obviously, the back of the strap, the plastic, very, very thin compared to other title belts from other chains and feds and stuff. Very, very thin, but it feels like a real belt, if that is kind of a thing. It feels like a leathery type strap. But yeah, I could see this very easily. That's a thin, thin plastic. If you're not careful, you could easily tear that. But I seem to have got this off just fine. This will go on his shoulder. I'm happy about that. That's good. It's something I shouldn't be happy about because, hey, we should be able to pull that thing off and on a million times without issues. We do got some strings, so some fabric coming off of here. Just trying to straighten him out a little bit. He does have, nope, I was thinking it was a waist belt. Very interesting. Kind of a softer crotch piece on these guys. He has the big ab crunch. Huh. I don't know. No knee pads on this one. He does still have that knee. I don't know. There's just something about this knee that I don't like on these. You can see how they kind of flare out like that. I do not like that at all. It just bugs me. And then when you put them straight, they just got a little bow-leggedness to them. I just don't like that. I know it's nitpicky, but I'm trying to dissect these things and see what I think. That seems to be the biggest fault for me. That's not bad, though. I mean, I was expecting pretty bad stuff for this, just based on those pictures that Ringside put up. It's funny how that works. Nothing against our friends at Ringside. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Let me see the other head on Ishii here. I don't know about this head. This head's weird. Pops it on. And I'm not familiar enough with the character, but why is this head? I don't understand. This is, if you want to put him in a sleeping bag and have him sleeping, his eyes are closed. He looks like he's, taking a nap. I don't know. Very, very strange. Put him in his chair here. Is this his old sleeping chair? Is this what he sleeps in? I don't know. This is an alright one. I got to work on getting this shirt off. It's going to take some time. I think it'll be safe to take the hands off, take the head off, take the shirt off, go from there. I don't know. Maybe I can do it. Should I try to do it really, really quick? See if we can knock it out. I don't know. I just don't like... I understand shirts don't come off. This will never go back on. This is never going back on. Yeah, I think I'm about ready to already give up. Come on. I don't know. Yeah, very, very difficult to get off. I don't even think I'm going to do it. I can't get it over that. I want to look at this ab crunch, though. So this ab crunch it's a pretty big ab crunch on him there. That's as far as we're going to get. We're not getting the shirt off. Just too much work. Just don't got the time. We're not going to sit here for a half hour. And I'm going to display him with his shirt on. It makes sense to me, so we're going to keep it at that. So let's put his head back on quick. This extra head. Let's compare him to another Super 7 favorite, Andre the Giant. Let's grab old Andre. Look at that. There's the old Super 7 Andre the Giant. You guys remember this figure, I'm sure. Some of you guys probably picked it up. Look at that height difference there. That's a little different. But very similar, obviously. Made by the Super 7. Feels very similar. This Andre, I'm not a huge fan of this Andre. This is by no means even close to my favorite Andre. I feel like this was an adaptation of Andre from a comic book. This isn't a version of wrestling Andre. This is a comic book version of Andre, if that makes any sense. But yeah, height-wise, way bigger than Ishii, which I assume he should be. What did we say Ishii was? 5'6". So, I mean, he's a really little guy. So, right there, 7'4", 5'6". I think that sounds about right. But very similar. Obviously, Super 7 making both of these figures. They're going to be in the same universe, we'll call it. So, I like it. So, there's his comparison to Andre the Giant. So, Ishii, definitely not going to be my favorite of the set. Some issues with the legs, like I said. The limp wrists a little bit. Belt came off clean. I didn't have any issues there. Maybe it was because I was careful. I'm not sure, but that did come off. I'm not sure what to think about the shirt. Obviously, shirts, that's how shirts are, but I don't like shirts like that for my figures. I like the Velcro in the back. I want easy off, easy on. I don't want to sit here for 15 minutes trying to take it off and say, you know what, I like a better shirt on. Now I got to spend 20 minutes putting it back on. I don't like that, but nitpicky once again. Definitely like the first head better than the second head all day long. Got to figure out what hands I really want to use for him. But for a character I'm not super familiar with, it's an all right one. It's an all right for me. Old Ishii. All right, we got one left. Let's get to it. All right, did we save the best for last? We've got Hiroshi Tanahashi, the last one up in the lineup, and it could be the coolest one, as he does come with a Flying V guitar. Yes, the guitar that Michael Schenker made famous. So if you don't know Michael Schenker, definitely check him out. One of the greatest of all time. But really cool, he comes with a black and white Michael Schenker-esque guitar. Love the decorations on this one. This could be the top one, but we'll figure it out once we get him open. But let's take a look at the packaging. Very familiar by this time. We know it. It seems everybody comes with the same hands. I guess I didn't come to that realization until right now that everybody has the same hands. I see what they're doing there. That definitely saves you money, giving the same molds over and over. But I would like more specific hand styles to these guys, and maybe they are in here. That once again, I'm not super familiar with everybody here. Maybe there is everybody's familiar hand styles, hand gestures in here. I don't know, but everybody seems to have the same hands. Got an extra head on Tanahashi there. The guitar we talked about. It does come with the Intercontinental title, so that's a cool feature. Oof, once again, will I be able to get that off without breaking it? I guess we'll find out very, very soon. Everything else is the same we've seen already. Nothing too more exciting, but very cool packaging on here. I hope everyone keeps the same packaging flavor. Height, 5'10", 222 pounds from Gifu, Japan. His finisher is the high fly flow. And follow him on Twitter at Tanahashi_100. And while you're there, follow me on Twitter at SirPaul64. And then Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. And while you're here, subscribe to the channel. Why not? I'll say it. All right, let's open him. All right, we got Tanahashi out of the packaging here. Let's take a look first at this guitar. Like I said, the old traditional flying V. A little light, a little plain Jane. I do wish there was a strap you could put over his head. That would make a lot more sense. But I guess you could find those clear rubber bands we get with figures, stuff like that. There's got to be a way. We'll see if I can make this stand on his in his hands. But flying V, yeah, black and white flying V, very Michael Schenker-esque is what I think of. Or old school Judas Priest. I mean, yeah, Priest. What head do we like? Do we like the more stoic face or more kind of a smirk face or the straight out smile face? I think I'm probably going to go with the smirk face that's on him right now. But once again, great material, great jacket, very leather feeling. I don't know if it's actually real leather, but it sure does feel that way on the outside. It feels really good. Very cool jacket on him. Love this jacket. This is a very solid figure. The gray, the white, and the black really pop on the tights. Yeah, I can't say too much negative about this one. Even the skin tone on this one seems the most correct of the bunch. It looks the most fluid and organized as far as that goes. Cool paint on the sleeve here. Wrists are a little wobbly still. We've seen that with about every single figure. And then the face seems to have a little bit of that FTC sheen we keep talking about, or I keep talking about. He's got a little of that still going on there, but not bad. I think this is probably my favorite one. I don't know. We'll see. At the end, we'll rank them all. We'll put them in an order. We'll finish up the video with that little discussion there at the end. He does come with his IWGP Intercontinental title, as we said. Oh boy, that looks like a scary one. I might leave that on there as well. But very good paint applications. It's always tough to get black, white, and silver without some bleed over, and I don't see any paint imperfections here. He's got Ace on the side of his tights, High Fly, Go Dynamite on one knee, and Hiroshi Tanahashi Ace on the other knee pad. So very cool. Whoa, he's got some crazy softness, fur-like on this shoulder, so that's cool. I tell you, this is a solid one. Let's see, can I get this guitar in his hand? So he comes with every hand under the rainbow, I guess we'd say. So how hard? Oh yeah, wow, that's actually sticks in there a lot better than I figured it would. Look at that, he's ready to bust out some riffs. He's going to be living after midnight in no time. I think he's going to be playing some old school Priest. Probably some Unleashed in the East era. Just, it's fitting, isn't it? Unleashed in the East. Judas Priest live in Japan, their seminal live album. He's probably doing the hits, all the hits from that one. He's busting out Grinder. He's busting out all the deep Judas Priest tracks we've known and love. How about a little comparison to Storm, Jushin Thunder Liger, one of the greatest figures in the last few years. I love these. Obviously, there's been, 4 of them now? I have all of them so far. There's more to come. These are made by Storm Collectibles, another great collectible company. A little bit bigger than your traditional figures, but man, this is a solid one. Love the Jushin Thunder Liger. Obviously, the scale is not there. Jushin should be shorter than Tanahashi. A little shorter, at least. And even crouching, he's way over him. But man, I love these Storm collectible Jushin Thunder Ligers. I can look past it. They got their own little shelf in my collection. This Tanahashi is very strong. Very strong. I think I'm sticking with this head. I think I've decided against this one. But this could be my favorite in the set. This Tanahashi is very solid. And this is how it compares to the Storm Jushin Thunder Liger for your size comparison. So we really did run the gamut of comparisons of all modern day wrestling figures to see where Super 7 fits in that aspect. So there it is. There's Tanahashi. Let's grab them all. Let's put them in order. Let's line them up and finish up the video. All right, guys, let's wrap up Super 7 New Japan Pro Wrestling Series 1. We've had a detailed review. We walked through each one of these. We compared them to FTC, Jazzwares, Mattel Elite, Super 7 Andre. We compared it to the Jushin Thunder Liger, another New Japan Pro Wrestling legend, we'll call it. We're not going to call it. He is a legend. But we're going to compare them all. We did it all. We talked about the figures. Now we got to put them in order. My favorite to least favorite, and wrap this video up in a little bow. So I'm starting off, my favorite one of the set, Tanahashi. I'm a little bit surprised by this, as I did not assume Tanahashi would be my favorite. But that addition of that flying V guitar and the great paint application detail, and then the robe is next level. The best soft goods of the set by far. And I do like his second head better than his first. Tanahashi, runaway winner. Never would have expected that one to be my favorite. But here we are. He is number one. Number two, same thing. Ishii is my number two. I figured, looking at the prototype figures when they first came out, the prototypes for Super 7, Ishii, in my mind, was probably going to be my least favorite. But there's something special about this figure. I like the head scan with the eyes open. I don't know about that sleepy head scan. A little strange there. The soft good shirt is good, even though I can't get it off. I'm not even going to try to get it off because I don't think I'll get it back on. You leave that shirt on him. He looks awesome. He's just a pit bull, thick, bowling ball type figure. Something about him just feels right. This is a great figure. Number three, Okada, the old Rainmaker. Something missing here. This one just screams FTC to me. I don't know. You guys tell me if you think that as well. But when I see this, I think of that Colt Cabana FTC figure. I can't get that out of my mind. The soft goods is nice. Not as nice as Tanahashi. It's nice. The money, I wish it had some color or some design to it. It just looks like green stacks. It just looks strange. But the head scans, both head scans to me, I can't get over. It's just too... that FTC wash, that's all I can think of. That's what I think of when I see this. The skin tone just doesn't do it for me on the Okada. So something missing there. I thought this would maybe be number one for me. It's just not. It's just the execution with this one just didn't work. I appreciate the soft goods. I appreciate the Mr. T necklace. It's just something, put it all together, didn't work for me. That's my opinion. And then finally, the one I thought would be number one would be Will Ospreay. And it just did not work. This is the first one we unboxed and we looked at, and it just failed on many levels, unfortunately. And Osprey is the one I probably know the best, and maybe the one I've seen the most matches from. I don't know, pretty close. By no means am I an expert, like I said before. But Osprey I'm very familiar with. I like the accessories, the sword and the junior trophy. Very cool to get those. Even the soft goods, even though it has a little bit of that FTC quality to the soft goods, in my opinion, I still like that. But what I can't get over on this Osprey is he does have the giraffe neck, a little too long. Both head scans don't really work that great. I think they're both just a little off for different reasons. The legs, the knees have issues. He's got bow legs. I don't know if that's just mine. I don't know what it is. I just can't get him to stand very good where it looks even somewhat normal. So I don't like that. And then, of course, the issue with the skin color on this one. It looks like he went to get a spray tan, and it went horribly wrong. He stepped out. He turned the wrong way. He did all the things you're not supposed to do in a spray tan. And that's what it looks like. The joints really drive me crazy. You can hide a lot of it with his jacket. Taking the jacket off him, I do not recommend. Absolutely horrible. If he didn't come with his jacket, it would be officially hot garbage. And it's pretty close to hot garbage. I got to be honest. That's how I feel about this. I do not like the elbow or shoulder joints. They're pure white. They really stand out really bad. This Osprey just missed. But I do love the sword. I love that we got a sword. That's pretty cool. And the trophy's pretty cool. But this one just failed. It just fell really flat for me. So as a whole, wrapping up this whole series, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. The highest of highs when it was announced and we saw the computer-generated promo images from Super 7. That was the highest of highs. The lowest of lows were definitely those Ringside Collectibles pictures. They just didn't do justice to these figures. But that being said, these fall somewhere in the middle. Are they the greatest figures of all time? No. Are they as bad as some of the feedback that people have been giving, that I've been hearing? Like I said, I try to stay away from all the commentary. You can't help but see and come across a few things, but I gave my honest reviews here, my honest first time really holding, looking at these figures review. They fell somewhere in the middle. They're nowhere near as good as the AEW Jazzwares Series 4 that just came out recently, and those are half the price. We talked earlier, the pricing model and how Super 7 works and all that. So you can't really complain, oh, it's a $50 figure. Yeah, but it's going to be, limited run, more of a niche product, a niche company, Super 7. This isn't Hasbro Mattel. So just a lot to take in, a lot to breathe in with this. But at the end of the day, we all have to take that step back. We gotta love it that another company like Super 7 is throwing their hat in the ring. They're getting involved in wrestling figures. We all love wrestling figures. I love wrestling figures of all different sizes, all different companies over the years, and it's cool to have Super 7 in the game. I have to think very similar to AEW Jazzwares. We remember the issues with Series 1 of the AEW Jazzwares figures. I gotta feel Super 7 is gonna learn from this. Series 2 will get better. Series 3, if there is one, will get better from there. And I hope they succeed. I hope people buy these. I understand some people not wanting these. Me personally, after seeing those ringside pictures, I almost canceled my order. I came very close to canceling. And that's part of the beauty of ordering from Big Bad Toy Store. You can cancel at any time. If you order from Super 7, you're stuck. But you could cancel from Big Bad Toy Store. And I almost did. I'm glad I did not. I wanted to see these with my own eyes. Worst case scenario, and how I justify it to myself, worst case scenario, year, 2 years from now, I'll be able to get my money back for these plus more. That's just the way the toy works, especially with these niche Super 7 items. It's been He-Man, Thundercats, you name it, you can get more money for what you paid for these down the line. That's guarantee there. So I'm glad I picked these up. I hope we see improvements in the future. I hope these take off and Series 2 takes off and the Andre the Giant figures and the Matt and Brian figures. I hope they get some traction. I hope they get some buzz, because guess what? We could possibly get maybe the Legion of Doom, Ultimo Dragon, the Great Muda, so many of Japan's greats. Let's get a Stan Hansen. Get a Stan Hansen out there. We get all these guys from Japan. It would be great to get them in the Super 7, especially if they can tweak some things, figure out some things, take some learnings from these things, and move to the next chapter. So fingers crossed the improvements happen across the board, that we get more figures from Super 7. I mean, just think of a Road Warriors. How great would be a deluxe Road Warriors? Different spikes, different heads. Oh, just give it to me right now. But hopefully in the future, Super 7 can do that. So this has been a long review. You guys tell me your thoughts on these. Do you actually have these in hand? Can you tell me your opinion of having them on hand? Or I guess if you want to look at the pictures and give your thoughts. I know a lot of people are all out. I know this is New Japan. This isn't WWE. This isn't AEW. So this is definitely not for everybody. Not everybody has access or follows New Japan. Not everybody is a really serious collector that buys a lot of stuff like me. So I understand there's different aspects of where you're coming from with these, but I guess give me your comments. Let me know your thoughts on this set. Don't forget to like the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And like the video, I guess I should have said, but like the video, subscribe to the channel. As you guys know, we're pumping out new videos every single day. There's a lot going on the channel, so make sure you hit the old notification bell. So for New Japan Pro Wrestling Series 1 via Super 7, I'm Kyle, and I will see you guys all real soon.